It started like any other clear morning. Birds sang in the trees, traffic moved through the cities, and children laughed in schoolyards. Then, without warning, the skies began to darken. At first, people thought it was a storm or some kind of strange weather phenomenon. But when massive shapes appeared above the clouds, panic spread across the world. They were not clouds. They were not storms. They were alien battleships. Hundreds of them, towering like mountains with surfaces that shimmered with unknown metals and strange glowing lights. They blocked the sun. People stared upward, frozen with fear, unable to comprehend the sight. News channels scrambled to broadcast the arrival live, but even the best cameras could not capture the full scale of the ships. In every corner of the Earth, governments activated emergency protocols. Military bases were put on full alert. Jets scrambled, but everyone quickly realized how little human technology could do against these alien giants. Missiles that normally could destroy mountains seemed like sparks against their shields. It was clear. Humanity was facing a threat unlike anything it had ever known. The aliens revealed themselves soon after. From the largest ship, a massive hologram appeared in the sky, showing the leader of the Zytrax, a species of tall, armored beings with glowing eyes and long, thin arms ending in sharp claws. Their voices were loud, strange, and somehow vibrating in the chest of anyone listening. They demanded the surrender of Earth and all its resources. They spoke of conquest and control, expecting humans to bow in fear. Most humans were frozen in terror, yet among the chaos there were those who did not give up hope. Scientists, engineers, and thinkers who had spent years imagining this moment worked secretly in labs underground. Among them was Dr. Amara Chen, a brilliant physicist known for her work in artificial intelligence and nanotechnology. She watched the broadcast with concern but also determination. Humanity had prepared in ways the aliens could not imagine. For decades, rumors had circulated online about Project Prometheus, a secret initiative designed to defend Earth in case of first contact. Governments had denied it publicly, but secretly the project had advanced human technology far beyond what was known to the public. It included autonomous drones, advanced AI systems, orbital defense networks, and experimental nanomachines capable of disabling electronic systems. Until now, it had been hidden, waiting for the right moment. That moment had come. People everywhere felt helpless. In the streets, chaos erupted. Cars collided as drivers tried to flee. Families crowded shelters. Soldiers loaded their weapons, unsure if they could stop the alien threat. Panic and fear spread like wildfire. Yet in secret bunkers and labs, scientists and engineers worked with calm focus. They knew that fear was the weapon of the aliens, and humanity's best defense was not to be afraid. Dr. Chen's lab was a hive of activity. Holographic screens floated in the air, showing real-time movements of alien ships, their weapons, and their communications. Teams of engineers calibrated drones, while programmers tested artificial intelligence systems that could think faster than any human. Even volunteers from the public had joined, helping build parts, repair devices, and manage data. The world outside panicked, but inside the lab there was purpose, teamwork, and hope. As the day turned into night, the alien battleships began to move. They hovered over major cities, scanning for resistance. Energy beams from their ships cut through the sky, destroying military installations, power grids, and infrastructure. The world had a taste of the aliens' power. Yet, even in destruction, humanity showed signs of resilience. In remote locations, small groups of humans refused to flee. Farmers, engineers, and citizens grabbed whatever weapons they could find, determined to fight back. Dr. Chen addressed her team. "They think we are weak because they see only our weapons," she said. "But they do not understand humans. We do not give up. We adapt, we fight, and we will show them that what they brought is not enough to defeat us." Her words inspired those around her. They worked tirelessly through the night, preparing the first wave of defenses. Tiny drones were programmed, experimental weapons were tested, and simulations were run to predict the aliens' next moves. Outside, the world waited in fear, but inside the lab a small spark of hope had been lit. The story of humanity's resistance had begun. The aliens came expecting surrender. They brought their battleships, their firepower, and their arrogance. But humans, armed with courage, intelligence, and hidden technology, were about to show the universe something it had never seen before. For the first time in history, humanity faced extinction, and for the first time, It was ready to fight back. The morning sun rose over cities that still bore the scars of the alien arrival. Smoke curled from toppled buildings and power lines hung like broken threads in the streets. Humanity had been stunned by the sudden appearance of the Zytrax battleships, but even in devastation, people refused to surrender. Military leaders gathered in command centers, discussing strategies that had never been tested in reality. Jets and tanks, which once symbolized power, now seemed insignificant against the massive alien fleet hovering above Earth. The Zytrax weapons fired without warning, destroying buildings and bridges with energy beams brighter than the sun. Yet despite the destruction, humans found moments of courage. Civilians rescued neighbors from rubble, soldiers protected fleeing families, and volunteer engineers worked day and night to repair communication systems. Deep underground, Dr. Amara Chen and her team prepared humanity's first response. Project Prometheus, once a secret, now became the hope of the world. Holographic maps showed the positions of alien ships, their patrol routes, and vulnerable points. Teams of engineers and programmers coordinated with AI systems to deploy the first line of human resistance. Dr. Chen spoke to the assembled scientists. "They think they are invincible," she said. "They do not know that humans are unpredictable. They plan with logic, but we fight with ingenuity. Today we show them what that means." The first strike was a combination of human bravery and unexpected technology. AI-controlled drones, small but fast and agile, launched from hidden bunkers and remote locations. They flew silently, avoiding alien radar. Some carried miniature EMP devices designed to disrupt the Zytrax electronic systems. Others carried small explosives targeting supply ships and fuel carriers. At first, the aliens ignored the drones, confident in their superiority. But when a supply ship suddenly lost power and drifted into the atmosphere, their confidence faltered. The alien commanders realized that humans were not attacking blindly. They were clever, precise, and coordinated. In a city near the coast, humans tested guerrilla tactics for the first time. Soldiers and volunteers set up traps in the streets, luring alien scout ships into zones filled with hidden mines. When the aliens triggered the explosives, several ships were destroyed and their formation broke apart. People cheered from hidden shelters, amazed that ordinary humans could strike such powerful enemies. Meanwhile, Dr. Chen unveiled another part of Project Prometheus, the nanoswarms. Tiny microscopic machines, invisible to the naked eye, could enter alien ships through small cracks or ventilation systems. Once inside, they disrupted electronic systems, causing lights to flicker, weapons to misfire, and communication networks to fail. It was a new kind of warfare, quiet, invisible, and deadly to alien technology. The first nanoswarm mission was led by a team of engineers and pilots. They released the tiny machines near a small alien vessel, and almost immediately systems began to fail. Alien lights dimmed, doors jammed, and the ship's weapons misfired. The Zytrax crew panicked, unable to understand why their perfect systems were failing. Humans watching through satellite feeds celebrated quietly. They had struck the first real blow. As the day went on, humans learned quickly. They discovered weaknesses in alien sensors, gaps in their flight formations, and patterns in their patrols. Soldiers combined traditional weapons with new technology, creating traps and ambushes that confused and damaged the alien forces. Yet the aliens were not defeated. They adapted rapidly, deploying faster ships and more advanced patrols. They realized that humans were not only resilient but also dangerous when underestimated. Every success of the humans forced the Zytrax to rethink strategies, slowing down their conquest. At night, the world paused to reflect. Fires burned in cities, sirens wailed, and the sky was filled with alien ships. But in homes, bunkers, and labs, people felt a new sense of hope. Humanity had survived the first clash. They had been outmatched in size and power, yet they had proven they could fight back. Dr. Chen addressed her team once again. "Today we showed them that humans are not weak. We cannot match their size, their weapons, or their numbers, but we can match their intelligence, their unpredictability, and their courage. This is only the beginning. We will fight and we will adapt. That is what makes us human." The first clash ended not in total victory but in proof. Humans could resist. They had survived, learned, and struck back. And as the alien ships hovered over the night sky, their glowing lights reflected the first cracks in their confidence. Humanity had brought something worse than fear. They had brought ingenuity, resilience, and the will to fight. The war for Earth had begun. The Zytrax had come expecting easy conquest, but humanity was already changing the rules. The first clash was over, but the battle was just beginning, and humans were ready. The Zytrax expected resistance, but they had not anticipated the full strength of human determination. After the first clash, humanity was no longer merely defending. They were preparing to take the fight to the alien invaders. Cities that had been devastated were now hubs of planning, repair, and innovation. Survivors worked together, turning ruined streets into makeshift bases, and ordinary people became fighters, engineers, and strategists. In one command center deep underground, Dr. Amara Chen stood before a massive holographic map of Earth. The map displayed the positions of Zytrax ships, their patrol routes, and the areas humans controlled. "We learned a lot from the first clash," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Now it is time to strike where they least expect it. Humans are not just survivors. We are fighters, thinkers, and problem solvers. They cannot predict what we will do next." The human strategy was simple but brilliant. They used speed, cunning, and deception rather than sheer power. Small teams of soldiers, engineers, and pilots coordinated with AI systems to create traps, ambushes, and surprise attacks. Drones flew silently through the skies, scanning the aliens' movements and delivering critical intelligence. Nanoswarms, now improved with new programming, targeted the aliens' key systems more effectively, causing confusion and disabling weapons without being seen. In a remote desert, a squadron of human pilots prepared for a daring attack on a Zytrax supply convoy. The ships were heavily guarded, but humans used decoys and false signals to lure them into a narrow canyon. Hidden mines and drone-guided explosives awaited. As the alien ships entered, humans triggered the traps. Energy beams misfired, engines failed, and the convoy crashed into the canyon walls. Human fighters using small and fast ships darted between obstacles, striking vulnerable points on the Zytrax vessels. Meanwhile, engineers on the ground deployed portable EMP generators near alien landing zones. When the Zytrax deployed mechanized ground units to search for humans, the EMP fields caused their machines to freeze and stumble. Soldiers used this advantage to disable the units and force the aliens back. Each success, no matter how small, spread hope among humans and fear among the Zytrax. In orbit, human pilots executed another bold maneuver. Using stealth satellites and AI coordination, they created trap zones in space, areas filled with mines and automated attack drones. Zytrax ships, confident in their advanced sensors, were drawn into these zones. One by one, their ships suffered failures, losing shields, weapons, and communication systems. Humans had turned the vastness of space into an ally, using knowledge and creativity rather than brute force. Back on Earth, Dr. Chen unveiled another part of Project Prometheus, a network of underground tunnels and hidden bases designed to allow humans to move quickly and safely. Civilians, scientists, and soldiers used these tunnels to repair equipment, transport supplies, and plan attacks without being seen. The Zytrax, who relied on power and visibility, struggled to adapt to a species that could disappear and reappear anywhere. The turning point came when humans launched a coordinated attack on a small alien command ship. Using drones, nanoswarms, and human pilots working in perfect coordination, they infiltrated the ship's defenses. Inside, the nanoswarms disabled navigation systems and communications, while pilots struck weak points in the ship's hull. The alien crew panicked, unable to understand how humans had managed to enter their vessel and disable it. In a matter of hours, the ship was rendered powerless and drifted harmlessly in orbit. Humans celebrated the victory, but Dr. Chen reminded them that the war was far from over. "This is proof," she said, "that we are stronger than they believed. They have size, weapons, and experience, but we have courage, ingenuity, and unity. As long as we work together, there is nothing they can do to break us." The Zytrax commanders, now aware that humans were unpredictable and dangerous, began to reconsider their approach. They had underestimated Earth's inhabitants, believing them weak and easy to control. Each human attack, small or large, challenged their assumptions and forced them to adapt. Fear and frustration began to creep into their ranks. On the streets, in bunkers, and in secret labs, humans felt a new sense of confidence. They had struck back and won. The first clash had been a warning, but now humanity was proving that survival was not enough. They were fighters, capable of defending their planet and turning the tide of battle. As night fell, the skies still glowed with alien lights, But for the first time, humans looked up without fear. They saw opportunity, strategy, and hope. The war was far from over, but humanity had discovered its greatest strength, the ability to adapt, unite, and strike with intelligence and courage. The Zytrax had brought their battleships, expecting easy conquest. Humanity had answered with something far worse: the will to fight back, the ability to innovate, and a courage that no technology could defeat. The battle for Earth had entered a new stage, and humans were ready to take it to the next level. The skies over Earth burned with the glow of alien battleships, but humans no longer trembled in fear. Humanity had learned from the first clashes and strikes, and now the world moved as one. Nations had set aside differences, pooling resources, knowledge, and courage. Cities became hubs of resistance, and hidden bases connected by underground tunnels allowed humans to move freely, unseen by the Zytrax. In a secret command center, Dr. Amara Chen oversaw operations. Holographic screens displayed alien ship movements, weak points, and predicted attacks. "They are strong," she said, "but we are faster, smarter, and unpredictable. They cannot anticipate human strategy. It is time to take the fight to them on every level: land, sea, and sky." The Zytrax, frustrated by repeated failures, escalated their attack. Massive energy beams targeted key cities, mechanized units marched across open lands, and drones scoured forests and mountains for humans. They had underestimated the resilience of humans and now faced an enemy that could strike anywhere, at any time. On Earth, human pilots prepared daring missions in newly upgraded spacecraft. They used small, agile ships to intercept Zytrax supply lines and attack isolated vessels. Using AI-assisted targeting and real-time data from orbital satellites, humans struck quickly, then disappeared before the aliens could respond. Each mission inflicted damage and forced the Zytrax to spread their forces thin, creating gaps that humans could exploit. Meanwhile, underground teams deployed enhanced nanoswarms, now capable of not only disabling alien systems but also sabotaging weapons, shields, and propulsion. Tiny machines infiltrated battleships, causing malfunctions that made alien crews panic. Lights flickered, energy weapons misfired, and navigation systems failed mid-battle. The aliens began to realize that their technology was vulnerable, and their confidence started to crumble. On the oceans, humans launched stealth submarines armed with advanced drones and mines. Zytrax ships that approached coastlines were ambushed unexpectedly, suffering damage and losing supplies. Even the vastness of the sea could not protect the aliens from human ingenuity. Civilians and engineers working on shore-coordinated attacks through secure channels, making every strike precise and efficient. The decisive moment came when Dr. Chen activated the Prometheus orbital defense system. A network of kinetic missiles, laser arrays, and AI-guided drones formed a protective net in low Earth orbit. Zytrax ships approaching key cities were met with an overwhelming combination of space and ground attacks. Shields that had seemed invincible faltered under precise strikes. Engines failed and weapons went silent. Captain Elena Reyes, a human pilot known for courage and clever strategy, led a daring squadron to strike directly at the alien flagship. Using a combination of stealth speed and AI guidance, her Team N navigated through the chaos of the battle, avoiding energy blasts and defending each other from attacks. When they reached the flagship, nanoswarms infiltrated the ship, disabling critical systems from inside. The alien commander struggled to maintain control. Crew members panicked as systems failed, weapons misfired, and their carefully planned formations collapsed. Human pilots struck at weak points, causing fires, explosions, and structural damage. In less than a few hours, the flagship was crippled, forcing it to retreat with the remaining ships. On Earth, people watched the skies with awe. Humans had turned the tide. The Zytrax, who once seemed invincible, now retreated in disarray. Civilians cheered, soldiers celebrated, and scientists smiled quietly at the proof that their planning had worked. Humanity had not only survived, it had struck a decisive blow. Dr. Chen addressed the command teams. "This is the moment we have worked for," she said. "They came thinking Earth would fall easily. They brought their battleships, their weapons, their power. But they did not understand us. Humanity is not just strong in numbers or machines. We are strong in courage, unity, and intelligence. Today we have shown them that they cannot predict what we will do next." The Zytrax, retreating into orbit, realized that Earth was not an easy target. Their confidence was shaken, their strategies disrupted, and their arrogance challenged. Humans had turned what seemed like a hopeless defense into a display of ingenuity and strength that the aliens could not ignore. In hidden bunkers and repair facilities, humans worked tirelessly, preparing for the next phase. Drones were repaired, nanoswarms upgraded, and pilots trained for new maneuvers. The planet, once under the shadow of alien fear, now stood as a symbol of human resilience. Humanity had not only survived its first true test, they had begun to rewrite the rules of the battle. The night sky still glowed with alien lights, but for the first time, humans looked up with hope instead of fear. They had proven that even against superior technology, courage, intelligence, and unity could prevail. The Zytrax had brought their battleships, but humans had brought something worse, the ability to fight back in ways no one could have predicted. The war for Earth was far from over, but now humanity had the upper hand. They were no longer defending. They were shaping the future, showing the universe that humans could not be easily defeated. The sky above Earth was still filled with the glow of alien ships, but the tide of battle had clearly turned. Humans were no longer on the defensive, they were leaders of the fight. The Zytrax, once confident and relentless, now moved cautiously, aware that their enemies were clever, united, and fearless. In a command center deep underground, Dr. Amara Chen and her team coordinated the final stages of humanity's counterattack. Holographic screens showed alien formations, damaged ships, and the routes for human strikes. Every pilot, soldier, and engineer knew their role. The mission was clear: force the Zytrax to retreat from Earth permanently. "Today we finish what we started," Dr. Chen told her team. "They underestimated us. They thought our weapons were weak, our numbers small, and our courage limited. They were wrong. Now it is time to show them the true strength of humanity." On Earth, coordinated strikes began at dawn. Human spacecraft moved quickly, using stealth systems and AI guidance to hit isolated alien units. Drones and nanoswarms infiltrated the Zytrax fleet, disabling weapons, navigation systems, and energy shields. On the ground, mechanized alien units were trapped by cleverly designed EMP zones and precision attacks. The humans had learned to exploit every weakness, turning every alien advantage into a liability. The turning point came when Captain Elena Reyes led a squadron on a daring mission to target the Zytrax mothership. The massive ship had been the command center for the alien fleet, coordinating strikes across the planet. Using a combination of orbital strikes, nanoswarms, and human ingenuity, the squadron infiltrated the ship's defenses. Inside, the nanoswarms caused chaos, shutting down critical systems while human pilots attacked from outside. Alien commanders struggled to maintain control. Their crew panicked as lights flickered, weapons misfired, and engines failed. Ships that had once seemed invincible now drifted helplessly in orbit. One by one, the alien fleet retreated, realizing that Earth was no longer a battlefield they could dominate. On the streets of Earth, people watched the sky with hope and awe. Fires that had burned for days were finally extinguished. Soldiers, engineers, and civilians cheered together. Humanity had survived the worst threat it had ever faced and had emerged victorious. The Zytrax had underestimated the spirit of humans, and now they were paying the price. Dr. Chen addressed the world through secure broadcasts. "We faced an enemy that seemed unstoppable. They brought battleships, weapons, and power beyond imagination. But humanity proved that courage, intelligence, and unity are stronger than any technology. We have defended our planet, and we have shown that we will never surrender." Though the victory was great, humans knew the cost. Cities had been destroyed, millions had suffered, and the scars of battle would remain for generations. Yet the lessons were clear. Survival alone was not enough. Humans had to be clever, united, and ready to adapt to challenges beyond imagination. In the aftermath, efforts to rebuild began immediately. Engineers repaired communication networks, volunteers cleared rubble, and scientists worked to restore power and water. Across the planet, people came together, proving that the same courage that had won the battle would now help rebuild the world. Humanity also looked to the future. Satellites were upgraded, defense systems improved, and Project Prometheus expanded. Humans understood that while the Zytrax had retreated, other threats might come, but Earth would be ready. Humans had brought something far worse than fear. They had brought unity, courage, and intelligence that no enemy could easily overcome. Captain Elena Reyes and Dr. Chen stood together, gazing at the stars. "They came thinking we were weak," Elena said. "But we showed them that humans are not so easy to defeat." Dr. Chen nodded. "They brought battleships. We brought something worse, our will, our courage, and our determination. If they or anyone else returns, we will be ready. And next time we will be stronger than ever." The sun rose over a planet scarred but alive. Birds sang once again, children played in the streets, and life slowly returned to normal. Humanity had faced extinction and survived. They had not only defended their planet, but had proven that when united, humans could overcome any threat. As Earth rebuilt, the story of the battle spread across the globe. People spoke of courage, ingenuity, and hope. The Zytrax had learned that humans were not to be underestimated. And humanity had learned something even more important. Their greatest weapon was not technology alone. It was their spirit, their unity, and their refusal to surrender. The battle was over, but the story of human courage would continue. Across the planet, people looked up at the stars, not in fear but with determination. They had survived the greatest challenge in history and proven that humanity could face the unknown and prevail. Earth was safe, for now. But humans had learned that their real strength came from within, and that strength would be ready, whatever the universe might bring next.